What is up, internet? Radams97 here, bringing you yet another Napoleonic naval battle on Napoleon Total War. So yeah, I do really like when naval battles are on Empire and Napoleon, particularly Napoleon, so I do a lot of them, despite being a Celtic gamer. So yeah, each of both me and my opponent here wanted to limit ourselves, so we both played factions who actually have the exact same naval rosters, and none of their ships are bigger than 8 guns, nobody gets rocket ships, and nobody gets steam ships. So in doing that, we already had our rules set out. No rocket and no steam. So yeah, I'll just jump over navy comps real quick. So I'm to start off with bringing 6 80-gun ship of lines, so 4 in the first group and 2 in a second. So we have the Jupiter, which is my Admiral's flagship, the Muscaten bomb, the St. Thomas, and the Stenbock in my first real line, and then on the second we have the Omhetten and the Castor. Next up I am bringing 4 64 gun ship of lines, the Phoenix Lilla, the Kronoskepet, the Morgustianen, and the St. Johannes. Next up we have 3 about 2 50-gun ship of lines, the Madame and the Carolus. We have 2 32-gun frigates, the Oland, the Hoppet, and finally a bomb ketch, the Charlotte. As for my opponent, who's kind of deployed in 2 little major groups here, because shout out to the person, FM, a subscriber, who's very familiar. We've done battles in the past as well, but he's pretty familiar with my usual strategy, which is what I've set up for with my deployment there. Obviously with limited ship roster I had to try and alter it a little bit, but I was going to go for pretty much the same thing of surrounding. So yeah, but he's well aware of my strategy, so he's deployed to try and counter it, which is actually going to be pretty effective. So over here in this little subgroup we have 2 80-gun ship of lines, the Yelland and the Christiansborg. He has 3 50-gun ship of lines here as well, the Dokwen, the Trailover, and the Varbier. Probably not pronounced quite like that. Over here, his ships are all kind of scattered around, so I'll just count them as I go. So we have a 64-gun ship of line here, the Dronning Lovisa. A 64 here, the Sophia Magdalena, yeah. We have a 50-gun here, the Dr. Caroline Matilda. We have a 50-gun here, the Gronland. Then we have an 80-gun ship of line, the Bornholm. A 50-gun ship of line, the Denmarkenus. Oh yeah, that's the point. I'm playing as Sweden, my opponent's playing Denmark. We have this bomb ketch, the Kiel. We have a 50-gun ship of line, the Leoparden. A 50-gun ship of line, another one, the Nella Bladet. A 32-gun frigate, here's only one of these, the Thetis. Finally, his Admiral is at the back, unlike me, in an 80-gun ship of line, the Destory Belt. So yeah, he's bringing a lot of 50 guns, so he's bringing a lot of smaller ships. But I think we have pretty much got about the same size. He's focused on 80s and 50s, whilst I've brought the 64s, but I've also brought that extra 32 gun. So yeah, I didn't bother counting anything up there, but yeah, looking at balance power, we've got pretty much the same. So yeah, so I'll keep in slow-mo while I just go over this. So I noticed that he obviously deployed to try and counter my usual strategy with that subgroup there to bombard as my ships approach, and then with more of a line than a cluster, so it's going to be harder to surround, but not impossible. So I'm going to try and do that, surround this cluster here, and for the most part ignore these for now, and essentially ignore them, focus all my firepower over here, and then try and catch them out as I go with the wind. So, because the thing is, my lighter ships, my flanking force, are going to go on this side, so his bombardment isn't really going to hit them. My heavier ships, my 80 guns, I was pretty confident they'd be able to take a fair bit of a beating. It's not like he's got anything big of an 80 gun, so we're kind of equal there. Obviously, he knows exactly what I was generally going to try and do, so he was going to counter. So I'm going to jump to normal speed now, sort my camera out, there we go. Yeah, as you can see, my 32 guns, I've got, instead of trying to make way, get behind. Obviously much faster than any of my shippable lines here. Yeah, everything else just pushing up, just getting into position, and my 4 80-gun lines are going to try and go straight down in between the two groups here and get in between, try and fire on both sides, but mainly, you know, focus on these. The group of 2 is going to try and set up a blockade around here. But again, you know, he's caught me off guard here as well. He took these 2 64 guns and turned them broadside before I, you know, now I'm gonna again try and ignore that, you know, and try and surround the rest of the ships and just push in, get between, and try and just, you know, because these are too hard to deal with at the moment essentially. But yeah, the rest of my fleet is gonna just push up on the other side. Yeah, I can't afford to waste time trying to deal with these and stop them because it gives them too much time to do stuff. So still where his bomb catches, it's probably gonna, I'm pretty sure I got a few shots. Mine's gonna stay back for the most, you know, stay out of the fight for the time being. You know, especially after seeing that there, I really didn't want to risk putting it up because that group there that's now formed a solid line would have been able to pretty easily take it out. Yeah, as you can see, I am really pushing on this side though. Now this is something that irritated me. I noticed this going on when I was trying to sort this here. One of my 74 guns, which was trying to set up a kind of blockade thing, got in the way of one of my 80 guns, and so I was trying to do this, but you know, I eventually end up, you can't remember if you'll get, yeah, I don't know what I'm on about there. I won't know if you'll get to see it, but I will eventually get back to way anchor just so that can get around. Take both of these out of their respective groups and try and get them to do other things. With the musket bomb trying to get in here and the Ormton trying to get around, go through here. He's going to get a nice shot off on the door in Lavisa. But yeah. But without my extra support, my Admiral is all on his own and he's not in a good spot because the line's completely broken. Yeah, so he's going to move in. He's going to be able to take on this, although as you can see his hull is starting to take some severe damage. As for over here, my 32 guns have got through pretty unscathed. We have taken 2 of his ships to try and fight him, one of them being his Admiral and the other a 50 gun, you know, so he's taking them to try and stop me surrounding them with my 32 guns. But here my 50s and my 64s are all making way. But yeah, as you can see, I've actually gone around some of the ships here and I'm gonna just weave through these ships. But oh yeah, if you heard the explosion there, the sad news, it was my Admiral. Admiral took loads of fire and his ship just caught fire and it blew up. So that was not a good start. You know, my Admiral's already down, as you've probably heard as well. A lot of my ships are now on the route. At the moment, all I've really got here is one of his 64 guns. Well, I have caught his bomb catch out here, but other than that, you know, it's really not looking good. I was in a bit of a panic here because Admiral's gone, a lot of ships taking some pretty heavy fire, and they don't have a lot to really show for it. Though then some of his ships also did start to rout, as you can see. So that 32 gun frigate's gone, like I say, that Tron in Lavisa is surrendered. The Sophia Magladona, a 64 gun as well, is on the route, ready to surrender because of the Muscata bomb. But yeah, the rest of my ships are all in heavy combat over here. But yeah, my right hand side is really pushing up and they're starting to group up now. They've finished their path. Now they've taken out Benelablet, one of his 50 guns, and he's seen this and he's going to try and pull his Admiral straight out of there because he knows that obviously he can't do anything. Oh yeah, and his bomb catch is also on the route. That's going to surrender. But yeah, so it wasn't my best start because his deployment did catch me off guard. But I have now kind of recovered. you know, I'm trying to reposition. Obviously, all my ships here are grouping up, and I don't think there's any of my 80 guns here though, which is a shame. But I've got 64 guns and 74 guns, so you know, I've still got some of my bigger ships. But yeah. Some of my 32 guns there. Although one of my 32 guns, although both of them went pretty much straight up against, literally touching broadsides of each other, against its admiral. So for one of them to get out of there alive is pretty impressive. As you can see, for the time being, like I say, my bomb catcher stayed out of the fight. I'm now moving that in, and I've basically given it attack order to go after his admiral because I've seen that he's on his own, so I can use my catch to just get up and get into position, you know, out of the fire. But yeah, over here, all my ships are really starting to group up. I'm gonna try and reform them into something, and you know, I'm gonna focus on most of these. But you know, I actually managed to pull out more damage than I thought. As you can see now, a lot of his ships are surrendered and on fire and destroyed. So got a 50 gun there, 50 gun there. So a lot of it, because he brought so many 50 guns, which are pretty light, I was able to deal enough damage with my 80 gun lines. But you know, it wasn't without casualties. But yeah, now his catch is actually sunk. But yeah, as you can see, surrendered, sinking, everyone's jumping off. Oh, has jumped off, that's gone. In fact, what might have caused that actually could well have been my bomb catch as it was moving into range. I'm not entirely sure. But as you can see, all these are now basically ignoring his admiral. I'm going to use my catch to try and fight it, and these are all just trying to form up now into new ranks. But yeah, so in forming up, we've managed to take out these two ships here, 50 gun and another 50 gun, Varberg and the Leoparden. Especially when you consider what I had this ship doing. The Muscatan bomb has done really well for itself. It's still going. Half damage on the port side hull, but you know, considering how it was positioned, I'd say it was pretty damn impressive. But yeah, everything's forming up. So he's got the Bornholm still here in his main block. So he kind of needs to get that out because it's away from the rest of his fleet. You know, he needs the extra support because I have done. Like, we were both surprised at how much damage eventually ended up getting caused because, you know, when my fleet first passed his, it really looked like I had taken all the damage, and then out of nowhere all his ships just seemed to start sinking. So we're both equally surprised about that. But yeah, so my strategy that I went for, as you can see, I did still kind of try and surround the second force, but it didn't end too well, and now again, you know, I'm just regrouping here. But yeah, I'm gonna take the camera over here because it's pretty intriguing what happened here. So like I say, I've got my bomb catch just on its attack order on that, on his admiral. I'm sure he's probably ordered his admiral to move in to try and deal with my catch, but I think his micro at the moment is probably trying to sort out all of this, watching my main fleet. One of my ships is now sunk. Intriguing. Don't care what one. Probably something out of Phoenix Selena. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm really trying to bombard this with the dense story belt with my catch. And you know, it's getting some good hits on now. I honestly think the catch is probably better than the rocket ship. It's just that the rocket ship damages sails more. But you know, the catch is really good at taking on ships, but as you can probably hear that bell ringing, I do have a good fire going below the deck. Yeah, like I say, there's not a huge amount going on here. He's got the tray lover. I'm not entirely sure what it's doing because it seems to be facing towards the wind westerly instead of, yeah, but again, I'm going to bring the camera over here. So, and as you can see, there we go. So my bomb catch actually completely annihilated his admiral. So his admiral's been killed, they're all abandoning ship, and the ship's actually going to sink. So I was incredibly impressed with that, and when I saw that, you know, I was immediately now trying to move this. I wasn't too concerned about you know, these. I wanted to try and get this over to essentially move this over here to get it back with my fleet. Seeing how long this had survived, when you consider how in most games how it survives. Oh wait, yeah. First I'm going to start attacking with Bornholm whilst his micro is over here. But yeah, and then he is going to see this and try and get the Bornholm to go after the Ketch, and at that point I'm going to pull it out because I know it's going to be faster. But yeah, so surprisingly, after the pretty disastrous start, things have really miraculously pulled into my favour. Like, I can't even put this one down to my general naval expertise in this game. There's a Muscatan bomb, just on its own, so I need to be careful about that. I'm trying to get that to regroup with the rest of my navy. As you can see, he is moving in to try and catch it out. But I've got my remaining 80 guns there. Well, one of them's 74 gun, but they're all set up. And that's essentially what the Muscatan bomb's trying to rejoin. Yeah, so I'm now bombarding the Bornholm. Yeah, as you can see, I'm pretty sure that is on the move now. Although it is going completely against the wind, so I have to be careful of that. Yeah, that's trying to sail towards my Ketch, the Charlotta. But, you know, having seen what that did to his admiral, I thought, you know, can I pick out another one of his ships as well? So that's what I'm trying there, and, you know, and if nothing else, it's acting as a distraction because he's now got these three. Oh, that's surrendered. These two ships then, you know, over here that he needs to try and control and get rid of the Charlotta, whilst the rest of my fleet is grouping up over here. And suddenly, you know, balanced power is really in my favour. Like I say, we're both surprised at just how much lingering damage my ships had done in their passing, and how well mine had survived. Yeah, so over here he is now trying to take out the Muscatan bomb, but it's gonna be able to take out the Sophia Maglande. I'm really surprised that that started routing, because it's saying hull damage, but you know, its hulls are pretty strong. But at the same time, as you can probably tell, that left hand hull, although it's saying it's in quite a good state, it has got some lower end damage. So and it is starting to tip in the water. And as you can see, I am now pulling my fleet down to the north to try and group up with the Muscatan bomb. Yeah, so he's now trying to bring the Gilland in to go after that. But yeah, fortunately that stronger side was facing it as well. But yeah, so that's currently, you know, tipping to one side and it's routing straight into the rest of my fleet, so that's not going to come back. I'm just going to jump over here. Where is she? Oh, right there.
One of our ships is withdrawing from the
Yeah.
fight.
So he's now got his ships on the move. You know, he's really trying to go after this. I've noticed the Christiansborg coming in. Or Christiansborg. Sport, I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. Yeah, what's withdrawing? The Muscatan bomb's on the route. But I'm pretty sure that's going to rally when it sees the rest of my fleet. But yeah, I've done amazing here. Better than I actually thought I had. That's coming from quite a seasoned admiral. But yeah, I've noticed his ship's moving in here. So I'm going to immediately pull it out, knowing it's going to be able to easily outmaneuver these ships. So my main concern was getting it past the Gilland there, not getting it past the Christiansborg. You know, because I want to get it over behind the rest of my fleet over there. But you know, I can just wheel it around that. But you know, it's getting it past the Gilland without taking too long, but it becomes null and void. So as you can see, I have my lines. I've reformed all my lines into new ones. They're all moving in to try and get into the Gilland and take it out, so that it'll be gone by the time the Charlotta arrives to continue bombardment. But yeah, a lot of surrendered Danish ships. I think all mine that got taken out, well, pretty much all of them, I would say. There's a couple of flashing Swedish. Well, okay, it looks like there's only one flashing Swedish flag, but you know, I have lost a few ships, but they've just completely sunk. Obviously, one of them being, sadly, my admiral. I think my admiral really tanked most of the damage that was dealt out. You know, on my first 32 gun frigate. The other one, though, is around here. Like I say, it did rally. As you can see, it's right there, the Hoppet. Yeah, I got two of my 50s there. They're Carolus, and the Madame. Yeah, the Muscat bomb, like I said, has rallied. It's over here. Needs fixing, although so do a lot of my ships. But I thought I want to put all my gunpowder, like all my firepower, to Vigilant before I start to repair. It's a risky move, considering the damage on some of my ships, but I didn't want to risk repairing and then Vigilant being able to deal some damage, you know, or its remaining ships here, so the Bornholm, the Trelever, Christiansborg, and the Duckwen getting being able to move in to support this, you know, that pulling out or whatever. Because if that pulled out to go north, it's only going to make things harder to get the Charlotte in. I don't really want to stop it around this area to bombard because of obviously these ships here. Yeah, so that is an 80 gun. It's got, over here we do have a 50 gun and an 80 gun, I do believe, yeah. Don't know what's going on there. Another 50 gun. And another 80 gun. So that's really all that's left of his fleet. So I'm going to quickly knock this into slow-mo while I go over what I've got left. As you can tell, it's quite a lot compared to his, what, 5 ships currently? 4? Yeah, 4 ships. No, 5, there's 2, isn't there? I'd say that's not a good spot and that's not going to last, but yeah. So I've got 74, 80, 80, and obviously the 80 there. That's 3 80s, a 74, and a 74. I believe it's just the 4 64, oh no, 3 64 guns, sorry, and the caster, the 70, another 74 gun. We have 32 gun there that's been fixing up. Most of these over here have just been repairing, other than the Carolus. She's saying that I'm a Muscat bomb. Yeah, so we got another 50 there. You know, the Madame, the 50 there. So yeah, that's my fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it's in my catch. Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ships, I believe. Maybe 13. I might have missed one. But yeah, so I'm not really, like I say, trying to hammer into Vigilant. So this group is wheeling around, trying to hammer in, you know, on this side, which is currently its rear. Whilst these that were supposed to be going after the stern, now firing broadside to broadside, but because his Vigilant did turn north. So I'm going to start to wheel these around south now, but they're going to be able to get plenty of fire off whilst they do it. It's not looking good for Vigilant, and yep, it's going to surrender. So yep, now I've got a clear path for the Charlotte to get back into position. And you know, when you consider how you like I say, when you consider how long you normally see bomb catches and rocket ships last, I'd say this is incredibly impressive in a multiplayer game. Because you always see people just not take care of their bombardment ships and they just get caught out. So I'm really happy to see that I've managed to keep that alive. And as I've already shown, you know, it's done its work. It's taken out single-handedly the enemy admiral. So it's put in it's put in well more than it took out in terms of funds. So yeah, I'm just trying to reform again. I know that obviously his ships are well over here, but obviously as you can see that the Duckwen there is somewhat isolated, so if I did try to go against the wind I could try and take that out, but you know, I'm just trying to reform at the moment again. And yeah, at this point, once everything's set up, as you can see, there's a lot of repairs going on now. I want to repair my entire fleet, basically. But you know, if you're looking at balance of power, it really is in my favour. And I mean, you don't really need to look at it when you see that he's now only got 4 ships left, and I've got, well, all this. So yeah, honestly, I'd say, especially like in a naval battle, when you're outnumbered, if anything, you need to be more aggressive. I mean, I might be wrong there, it might not be the best thing to do, but I'd say, you know, you want to try and get in between ships. You go really aggressive with the wind and try and outmaneuver, essentially. But, you know, with my smaller ships, you know, I've got 64s, I've got my 32 gun that can move around. I mean, I do obviously have several of my 80s left and my 74s, which are, you know, my bigger ships. You know, so they're going to make the main line, but with him, you know, he's only got 80s and 50s. So the 50s, you know, are going to be able to do outmaneuver pretty much my entire fleet except for that 32 gun, but that isn't really too relevant. Yeah, he's making the classic mistake that you see, though. As you can see, he's got the dock one making way well ahead of the rest of his fleet instead of trying to reform. He is not being careful because he really just wants to take out my bomb catch. He's trying, you know, that's what I imagine anyway. He's just trying to really focus down my bomb catch and get rid of that. The thing is, I do have the favourable position as well because, you know, my ships are downwind to his. So, you know, I can kind of retreat if I need to, you know, or I can really move away. He can only really move towards. So, you know, it's not looking good for him. You know, I always make sure, one of the classic things for me is I'll always make sure in a naval battle that I control the side. You know, I always have the wind with me, you know, whilst my opponent, you know, is going with it, you know, to get to me. So that I can be the one to kind of pull out and try and snake, you know, my classic snaking strategy, you know, make sure that I can outmaneuver. Yeah, so he hasn't, you know, as you can see here, he's got the Trail Lover and the Christiansborg moving up ahead of the Bornholm instead of trying to wait for everything to regroup. Oh yeah, and here we're going to have the most pathetic spiting ever, because the bomb catches have a broadside, unlike rocket ships, but they consist of 8 guns. Not even 8, sorry, 6. I don't know why I said 8. Yeah. So we have the 12 guns, you know, 6 on each side, and then the 2 mortars, so that makes it 14 guns total. Yeah, so as I was saying, the dock one is going to move out well ahead of the rest of its fleet, and it's just going to get picked off. So, you know, he just hasn't been careful, and like I say, he's got 2 ships there moving ahead of his 3rd one there. So he's going to have trouble supporting each ship. You know, he's making, it's a classic mistake that I tend to see, is people will not think about formation so much when it comes to ships. You know, they always think about ships individually as opposed to what they can do together. But yeah, I mean, he put up a good fight early. But I suppose another thing is, you know, seeing just how much damage of it I managed to do. I think, you know, I'd caught him off guard and now he's panicking, trying to figure out just what to do. But yeah, that's going to go on the route, and it's just going to route straight past all my ships. Chases from the Omerton even firing there. Yeah, that's going to surrender, it's on fire. And everyone's actually abandoning ship, so, you know, there's a fire going below deck that they can't put out. And that is actually going to explode later. You know, the fire's just going to go completely out of control because everyone's abandoned. I'll let you know in case I miss it. But, you know, again, he's moving up, but he's moving straight into my broadside. So, you know, he's going to try and turn here, but, you know, I've already got the better positioning. As you can see, my catch is well out now, and that's going to turn around and set up to fire. And as you can see, he's trying to pull out with this, seeing that actually he's poorly positioned, you know, with the rest of my fleet set up here. Although the Bornholm has now arrived as well, but, you know, needs to be careful, and it's trying to retreat, but like I say, he's going against the wind to pull out, so it's just not gonna work. And over here, the Bornholm, like, it's just gonna get picked out by these. Don't know what's going on over there. Oh, there we go. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just shredding his hulls now because I can just focus a lot of firepower onto individual ships. As you can see, you know, broadside 64 and an 80. And I've even switched to, like, seeing it on the route, I switched to chain shot. I'm just trying to immobilize it and bring it down, because I think he also you know, he was basically now saying, you know, look, he knows he's lost, let's finish on some boarding. So, you know, I was gonna use chain shot, immobilize it, and then board. But he's gonna board because it's only routing, it hasn't surrendered. But as soon as, like, they pull it in, it surrenders, basically, so they don't actually properly board it. Yeah, over here, like you can see, with Trail Lover, it just got hammered apart by these two, and it's well, it's routing, it hasn't surrendered yet, but yeah. And my catch, again, just doing its job. So like I say, he knows he's lost now, so his only goal now is really, he wants to bring down my catch because of how good it was for him. So if I just jump over here, so they're just pulling it in, and like I say, as soon as that gets pulled in, they immediately just drop weapons and cut the colours. So yeah, he's just moving here, he's trying to harass on the sides of my ships. Yeah, again, jump over here, surrendered, like I say, no one boarded it and they're pulling away. So yeah, like I say, he's just moving in here, he just wants to take on the Charlotte. He wants to sink it, you know, as revenge for the damage it caused. He's gonna get a good broadside off here, but obviously that isn't gonna be enough. And now, literally everything I have is moving in. Trail Lover is on the route, but you know that's not coming back. Look, if you can see its hull. Yeah, that shrunk the thing, but yeah, it's wrecked if you couldn't see it. Oh yeah, I switched to chain shot there, and basically I've seen what he's doing, so I'm just trying to immobilize it and pull the Charlotte out. I'm pretty sure I'll switch to round or even grape shot now. Oh yeah, he's actually realised, you know, that's not going to get through, so he's the one trying to board now. Although that was basically, you know, a way of just completely admitting defeat, because obviously that's now completely stuck. I can just move around it whilst it reels this in, and 158 to 153, you know, it would seem balanced, but then there's shaken versus steady. See, I'm just moving my ships around and they're going to get in on the other side. Wanted him to not go past the Kronskept, but oh yeah, there we go, it's on the route, it took too much from behind and in front. So it's going to decide, actually, we're not going to wheel in, we're going to route. And yeah, victory is mine. Yeah, I only really lost 2 ships. Obviously my Admiral and probably one of my 32 guns, I think. Might be wrong. So, you know, it was really surprising to look at that. I'm just going to quickly go over here. Okay, now that looks like one of my 32 guns there, so... Oh yeah, it's an easy way of checking this, but yeah, as you can see, although that actually surrenders on the Victor don't count, because it was a campaign game, they'd come back, and I've said it before, but you know, on a surrenders for the loser do count to losses. But yeah, so I'm just going to quickly, because obviously there's my Admiral lost, the Phoenix Lilia, can't remember what it was, I think it was a 50 gun. It makes sense if it was a 50 gun that went, but yeah. So that's the other one that sunk with Phoenix Lilia. If you want to know, just jump back to the start when I'm going over Navy comps. Yeah, I'm not going to bother going over kills, but except for one thing, because, you know, again, it's a thing you just don't see much. With Charlotta, my bomb catch, not losing a single of its 42 crew, but killing 100 enemy crewmen. You know, it was just a really impressive ship. I'm really proud of the way I used it. But yeah, anyway, that's been the battle. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, become a Celtic Warrior. I've been the Radams97.